What's up, Silver and Black Nation, and welcome to the Silver and Black Lair. I'm your host, the Bat Frie, Kenny Fry. And guess what day it is? It's not hump day. It's Friday. Whoop, whoop. Don't Friday. The weekend is here. Yeah. Oh, there it is. That's about the limitations of my dance moves right there. That's about all I got dancing wise. So I guess let's talk sports, right? So let's start off with a little bit of Raider talk. So the Raiders not using the franchise tag. I've been hearing about that for the last 2 weeks or so. Not too surprising. Last season they used it on Josh Jacobs, and hoping to get a deal and stuff like that, get a deal done. And they haven't been able to get a deal done yet, but it seems like they're, like I mentioned last week, I talked about last week, that they're slowly working towards something. And I would expect something to be done by draft time. So I know that's probably a month and a half away yet, but there's no rush. There's no big deal. He will be a free agent, but he has expressed that he wants to stay in Vegas. So let's see if his word is true or not, and slowly work towards that contract. I don't think it's going to be a long-term contract. If anything, it might be a 1 or 2 year deal again. And he said that he would sign with Las Vegas for another 1 year deal. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think the franchise tag for a running back right now, I thought I heard was like $14 million, which is a lot of money for a running back. And I've talked about this so many different times that running backs are so underpaid. I mean, football, professional football wise anyway. They're all overpaid, or all paid very well, I should say. I don't think they're overpaid. They put a lot of work into what they do. But anyway, the running backs are such an important part of the team, and they can catch, they can run, they grind, they block. It's just such a difference maker. If you have a good running back, it's such a huge difference maker. Not every team has. That's why you see a lot of running back platoons, because they just don't have that one franchise running back. Almost like a Derrick Henry, King Henry. He was a franchise running back with Tennessee. I'm not sure how much he has left in his tank. He's been used a lot, with Tennessee over those handful of years where he was the top of his game, the best running back in the league. So Josh Jacobs is a franchise running back, in my opinion. Now, last year he didn't show that, one reason or another, late, didn't show up to camp, hold out and stuff like that. Offensive line, not great job at run blocking. Great, they did really well at pass blocking, run blocking, not so much. They did have some moments, but also Josh Jacobs, like I said, coming into camp later and not at all actually, holding out, and he looked off of his game. He wasn't making the same cuts he was the year before. He wasn't seeing the holes he was the season before. But I still believe he's that franchise guy from the season before that led the league in rushing. He won the rushing title, a hell of a receiver out of the backfield as well. So he's still that guy in my eyes. So I would be cool if the Raiders, 12 and a half, $13 million. 14 is a stretch, but if they won 2 years, $24 million, or 2 years, 24 and a half, whatever, I think that's a good deal, and see what happens from there. They have a good season next year. Maybe they have a little bit more leeway, a little bit more time to work towards something a little bit more long term. But I mean, back in 2022, that was a season where Josh Jacobs, betting on himself. He had a huge season. He bet on himself. Figured he hit the jackpot. Didn't work out. He got the franchise tag last season, which was what was that? I think it was 12 or 13 million. So it's a nice. That's a nice. No, don't get me wrong. There ain't any one of us that's watching the show right now or watch it later on that wouldn't take 12 or 13 million dollars. But for a running back, for what they put their body through, you'd want more. You want something long term, more so than the money. You want something long term, but. So maybe it's another prove it year for Josh Jacobs, a bounce back season. If he has another big year, maybe the Raiders do sign him long term. I'm not sure. I hope so. I really like Josh Jacobs. I want to see him in the silver and black for for a long time. And I think if it's one of those moments in his career, if he were to leave the Raiders now and go to another team, who's to say 6-7 years down the road he has a great run, maybe wins a Super Bowl with this other team, he'll never be known as a Raider. Even though he started off great with the Raiders, he'll never be known as a Raider. He'll be known as whatever team he goes to. It's one of those things. I think he can be a one of those type of running backs where you look back, 10, 15 years from now, talk about the handful of running backs that are really good. Your Derrick Henrys, Austin Eckler's, you'd say Josh Jacobs in that group as well. So it's one of those guys you don't want to lose, and it could come back and bite you in the ass. I got a couple of comments here to yell out there and give some people some shout outs. Our boy Adam Glenn checking in. What's up, Adam? Thanks for checking the show out. Thank you for commenting. Fantasy football girl advice. What's going on? Howdy from Texas. Howdy from Pennsylvania. So we're still waiting to hear from you. Get that get a podcast rolling, or maybe join one of us with some March Madness talk. It's right around the corner now. We are in March, but it's right around the corner. And before you know that, I don't watch a lot of basketball, but March Madness, the brackets, the conference tournaments, I like watching that stuff. I like watching the NCAA tournament. It's a lot of neat upsets, and it's like a lot of neat matchups that you get. It's cool. I like that. And it's always so exciting. But thank you for checking the show out. Thank you for commenting. Adam, not a good year for a running back to be a running back, to be a free agent. No, I mean, there's quite a few really good ones out there. Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, like I said before, Austin Eckler, Josh Jacobs. Who am I missing? There's more out there. There's quite a few more. But those are your top tier guys off the top of my head. Derrick Henry, what he has left, I'm not sure, but he's still can produce, I think, at a high level. So your Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler is still a really good running back. Josh Jacobs, of course, like we've talked about. Tony Pollard, bounced back after the injury from the year before. Bounce back season last year. Does that injury from 2022, I believe it was, does that injury scare teams away from giving him a long-term contract? I don't know. I have a hard time seeing any of those running backs get more than 2 or 3 years, which is a shame, but that's just the nature of the beast, right? It is what it is. But yeah, it's not a. It doesn't pay to be a running back. It doesn't pay as well to be a running back. It's a lot nicer, back probably in the 90s, early 2000s and 80s. Running backs were the shit. Basically they were it. They were the quarterback. As big as the quarterbacks are now. They're the league's babies and stuff. It's that's how the running backs were back in the day. They were your workhorses. They were your stars. Bo Jackson, Marcus Allen. Raider wise. So Eileen says Friday and what's up, Eileen? Thank you for checking the show out. Thank you for commenting. You need help with your bracket. Everybody needs help with their bracket, Adam. It's amazing. Last season, I think it was last year, I went chalk on my bracket and just kind of went. I think I went almost all higher seeds. Just because I don't watch a whole lot of basketball, like I said, but I do enjoy the college playoff time, and it was terrible. It was really, really bad. So let's say I didn't win any money last year. So sip of iced tea for the working man here. All right, so moving on from Raiders not using the franchise tag and hopefully soon signing Josh Jacobs to some sort of deal to really secure him for the season. So here are the Raiders free agents. I've talked about this a few weeks ago. I wanted to revisit it. Free agency right around the corner here. I think the legal tampering, free agent tampering date, I think is Monday, I believe. So it doesn't make legal tampering doesn't make sense. It's one of them fancy oxymorons. So Raider free agents, we're looking at running back wise, Amir Abdullah, Brandon Bolden, Josh Jacobs, pretty much our whole running back room. We still have Zamir White, who was fantastic at the end of the season last year with Josh Hurt, and Sincere McCormick, who I'm excited. I want to see more of Sincere McCormick. I heard a lot of great things about him last season. I don't think we saw him at all. I think he was more on practice squad or injured reserve or something. I don't think we've seen him at all last season. So yeah, those three running backs. Linebacker Curtis Bolton. Defensive tackle, we have a couple of our defensive tackles on free agents right now. Adam Butler, John Jenkins, and Bilal Nichols. I love Bilal Nichols. I like that name. I don't know why. I think it's a cool name. If I had another son, I'd name him Bilal Nichols Fry. It rolls right off the tongue. Bilal Nichols Fry. Bilal, pick up your toys, Bilal. I like it. It's fun. I have fun with it anyway. So those are three defensive tackles that are free agents. DeAndre Carter, wide receiver, who we picked up last season. Jermaine Ulemanor, tackle. Brandon Parker, tackle. Ronis Grasu, our backup center. Andre James, our starting center. Jesper Horsted, Austin Hooper, tight ends, backup tight ends. Jakob Johnson, fullback. And Amik Robertson, cornerback, and Greg Van Routen, guard. I think I hit everybody there. Kind of bouncing around on my notes here. So all those guys, I can see us, bringing back some of those guys. But we're going to lose. We're not going to bring back everybody. We are going to lose some of these guys. Some I'd hate to see go, but some I'm indifferent on. I could care less. Adam says, I see Wilson to Denver and the Raiders trade for Fields. Are you talking Zach Wilson to Denver? I hope you don't mean Russell Wilson. That was last year, buddy. Or 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago, I think it was. Russell Wilson to Denver. I think you might mean maybe Zach Wilson. I don't know what other Wilson there is that's a free agent. But I don't think the Raiders are going to trade for Fields. I just don't see it happening. I don't know. I'm not for it. I think the Bears are asking for a buttload right now. I heard a couple first round picks, and I don't see it. I'd rather see the Raiders give the Bears a couple first round picks for this year's first round pick. I'm cool with that if the Raiders think that there's a franchise quarterback in there, but I don't think Justin Fields is a franchise quarterback. I've talked about this before. Accuracy, not where you'd want it. Now he is, very mobile, which is something that we could have used last season with Jimmy G just getting slaughtered back there. Well, not really getting slaughtered, but he got hurt a lot, so it looks like he got slaughtered. He didn't get hit that much, I don't think. And our boy Aiden O'Connell, just those spindly little legs, you got to get them moving, man. Yeah, it's kind of awkward looking watching him run, but like a snowman running on a couple bamboo legs. It's weird looking. It doesn't make sense, but he needs to learn how to move in the pocket. He needs a better pocket presence. I've said this before. You don't need a running quarterback. You need a quarterback with a better pocket presence, one that can step up, move left, move right, get out of trouble, roll out when need to, and get rid of the ball, or pick up that first down that's 3rd and 6. Drops back, getting pressure, bust out the middle. I just if he's able to get that into his game, I think Aiden O'Connell's be fine. He has the arm for it. I feel like he has the accuracy for it. Decision making wasn't the greatest at points last season, but I felt like the last couple of games that he was the quarterback, he did well with the decision making. He didn't put the ball in harm's way. He didn't really press the ball either. But with our defense playing the way it was last season, he didn't have to. So, but if he's able to get a little bit of pocket presence in his repertoire, I think he'll be just fine. I think he'll be a decent quarterback. He's not going to be a franchise. Aiden O'Connell will never be a franchise quarterback, I don't think. But he could be a serviceable quarterback. I mean, somebody that if your quarterback's out for 3-4 games, he can step in and do just fine. Or if you're going in, you have a great defense, a good run game, and you just need somebody to move the ball when needed and protect the ball. I think he could be that kind of quarterback. He can be a starter, but I don't think he's going to be a game breaker. Russell Wilson to the Steelers. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say Russell Wilson to Denver because he just left Denver or is leaving Denver. And it was kind of interesting that the Denver Broncos, with them, informing Russell Wilson that they're going to be cutting him or releasing him or waiving whatever the hell it is, come start of the new league year, whenever that is. I'm not really sure what the date is. I think I want to say March 13th, but I don't know. That doesn't seem right. They gave him permission to start speaking to other teams, which I thought was pretty interesting. You don't hear that very often. So I guess good on the Broncos. As much as that makes me want to vomit. Talking positive about the Broncos, the ponies, the donkeys. Can't stand Denver. Hate Denver. So looking at this list of Raiders free agents, let me run down them real quick and let you know if I ever think the Raiders will bring them back or won't bring them back. Amir Abdullah, I think there is a chance they bring him back. He's been really good for us as a third down back, coming in and making a big catch or a big block, on those third downs. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did sign Amir Abdullah to a one-year deal again, maybe to like a 1 year. I don't know what the hell he'd be worth, $2 million or something. I don't know. Brandon Bolden, I don't see him back. Curtis Bolton, I don't think he'll be back. Adam Butler, I think Adam Butler will be back. He had a good season last year. DeAndre Carter, I don't think he'll be back. He was kind of disappointing. We brought him in to be some sort of big returner, a breakout returner. And he just wasn't it last season. So, which doesn't mean he's not it. It just wasn't it last season, and that's what we signed him for. So, Jermaine Uluminor, I like Uluminor. I like his attitude. I like his I don't want to say aggressiveness. He's a no nonsense kind of guy. He's straightforward. I like that, Jermaine Uluminor, and he's gotten better. I think it was 2022 when he was a rookie. It started off really bad. It was not good at all. But by the end of the season, I felt like he was playing really good. And coming into last season, the Raiders signed him for a 1 year deal. And I thought, there were moments he played really, really well. They had a nice rotation going there at tackle. And, especially with the injury to Colton Miller, I thought he came in and he played really well. I didn't think he did too bad. So I would like to see the Raiders bring him back. I think it would be a good move. Hronis Grasu, I don't think they'll bring him back. I don't know. I'm on the fence about Hronis Grasu. He's a backup center. We have Dylan Parham, who would play guard this season, but is also, I think, from everything I've read and heard, center might be better fit, a better fit position for Dylan Parham. So I don't know. I don't know about Hronis Grasu. Do you go into the draft and pick up a center? Do you go through free agency, pick up another center? I don't know. So I'm on the fence there. Austin Hooper, I don't think he'll be back. Jesper Horsted, I don't think he'll be back either. Josh Jacobs, like I said, the Raiders and he are inching towards a new contract or an extension or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know. He's a free agent now, so I guess it'd be a new contract. Andre James, our starting center, I don't know. He played well at the end of the season, so I want to say yes. But with Dylan Parham, potentially moving over, I think a lot of it, is what the Raiders are going to do in the draft. If the Raiders are got to go lineman heavy in the draft, then they're not going to bring James back, and they're not going to bring Grasu back. I don't think. But I'm going to say they bring James back. I think they're going to bring Andre James back to another short-term deal. John Jenkins, I think they're going to bring him back, defensive tackle. He had a good season last year. Jakob Johnson, and I'm not sure about Jakob Johnson. I know our new offensive coordinator, is a run heavy type offense. AP wants to run the ball as well. Fullbacks are nice for running the ball, right? For blocking and stuff. And Jakob Johnson did do a pretty good job last season when he did play. There was, times that he was he was inactive or whatever, healthy scratch. Just didn't use him that week. Used that roster spot for somebody else. But then when he was playing, he did do well. So I'm on the fence there. I'm gonna say no on Jakob Johnson. I don't think they'll bring him back. I do like him, but I don't think they bring him back. Bilal Nichols, like I said before, I like the name Bilal Nichols, but I don't think they bring Bilal Nichols back either. So they have 3 defensive tackles that are free agents. I don't think they're going to bring all 3 back. Like I said, I think they could bring John Jenkins and Adam Butler back, but I don't think they could bring all 3 of them back, including Bilal Nichols. I think Bilal Nichols, I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's the older of the 3. He's the oldest of the 3. So, stay young and unfortunately cut ties with Bilal Nichols. Brandon Parker, tackle. I don't think they re-sign him. If they do, it'll be probably later in camp. It's one of those things. We brought him in late last season as well, to a practice squad and stuff, for depth. Amik Robertson, like Amik Robertson, big play Amik, but I don't know. I don't know. This one's a tough one as well. I don't know. I'm going to say they don't bring Amik back either, which is a bummer. He really. I felt like he blossomed last year to a really good cornerback. I think he could get much better with the emergence of Jack Jones when we picked him up last season. Kind of, Nate Hobbs, Jack Jones. Where does Amik Robertson fit in there? I'm not sure. Greg Van Routen, guard, new to the Raiders last season as well. Played well. He didn't play bad. Good at pass protection, run blocking. The run blocking up the middle was awful last season, I thought. So we had injuries and a lot of people moving around. That could be part of it, but so I don't think they're going to go. I don't think they're going to keep Greg Van Routen either. I think they'll replace him through free agency or the draft. Like I said, it's a draft that is pretty rich in offensive linemen, especially interior. No, I think the tackle position is pretty heavy in this draft coming up. So, but yeah, I don't think they re-sign Greg Van Routen. So looking at a couple notable free agents, I'd like to see the Raiders go after, which some of them are, it's probably a long shot, but you never know. Chris Jones, defensive tackle from Kansas City, he's gonna require a lot of money. The Raiders have a lot of money right now, which is abnormal for the Raiders, but they have a lot of money. He's gonna require a lot of money. I have a hard time seeing him leave Kansas City, but you never know. It would be something to take him away from Kansas City and make us smile a little bit. But I'd like to see the Raiders pick him up. He's a difference maker. If they were to sign Chris Jones, let's say they go out there and sign Chris Jones right away, I have a hard time seeing them being able to afford bringing back Butler, Jenkins, Butler or Jenkins. Maybe one of those 2 then. But I have a hard time seeing them bringing those 2 back. Russell Wilson. One thing I don't understand about Russell Wilson, maybe I'm just missing it because I don't watch. I hate the Denver Broncos. The only time I'll watch the Denver Broncos is if they're playing the Raiders. I mean, the Broncos. When the Broncos were in the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, the only reason I watch it, 1 is because of Super Bowl commercials. 2, I really like Peyton Manning, and 3, so I can hopefully watch them lose. I got to see it once. Unfortunately, they won the second time around Peyton, but I hate the Broncos. So Russ has that Bronco dirt on him. He needs to come to silver and black and brush it off. But I don't understand what the big dig on Russell Wilson was from this past season. I don't understand what Sean Payton's problem with Russ was. 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, over 3,000 yards passing. This seemed like pretty good stats. I don't know what the issue was. I don't know. So I wouldn't hate Russell Wilson coming to the Raiders for 2 years or 1 year or whatever. It's kind of a stopgap to maybe bring along a younger guy. I don't know if Russ would like that, but Kirk Cousins, dude just produces, doesn't produce in prime time, but all those other games where he's not on TV, produces very well. as long as there's no pressure on there. He's a top flight quarterback. He's going to demand a decent contract. So, but I'd like to see him in the silver and black. Jonah Williams, tackle from Cincinnati. He had a pretty good season last year, and seems to be a solid tackle. So, Cincinnati's offensive line was kind of in shambles last season. It makes you hesitate a little bit. But for everything I understand, for everything I read, Jonah Williams had a really good season last year. Pretty good tackle. Lloyd Cushenberry, guard from the Broncos. He does have a connection to our new offensive line coach from his LSU days. So that's something I wouldn't be surprised to see that, potentially get done, especially with, the Greg Van Routen being a free agent. Does Dylan Parham move over to center? That leaves two guard positions open. I don't know. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Lloyd Cushenberry does get signed by us. Christian Wilkins, also another defensive tackle, pretty good with Minnesota or Miami. I'm sorry, Miami. Leonard Williams, defensive tackle for Seattle. So if we don't go Chris Jones, maybe we sign one of these guys. They won't cost us as much as what Chris Jones would be, but still it'd be a solid defensive tackle. Tyron Smith, tackle from Dallas. That's like that one's a good one. He would look good in silver and black. I'll tell you that right now with that big old brace on his arm and stuff. A little bit injury prone, but last season had a career high. I think 900 plus snaps. Played 900 plus snaps. That was a career high for him, or the most since 2018. I think it was most since 2018. And also Mike Onwenu from New England, guard / tackle. Nice piece to have there that can come inside, also play outside. So young guy too. So those are the guys that I'd like to see the Raiders maybe potentially go after. Obviously they can't sign all those guys. This is like this list here is like maybe one or two guys you can sign and still have some money for some of your guys. But if you plan on signing more than that, you're not going to have any money for anything. You'll be broke again. So the Russ Wilson, the other thing about Russell Wilson is with his contract the way it is, I think you could sign him fairly cheap this year. From everything I've heard from the experts, get the veteran minimum maybe, or the veteran the league minimum. So I think I was talking to a Bronco fan at work, and I think he said it's like 39 million this year and 37 next year, or 39 this year, 39 next year, or whatever it is. So you could get Russ pretty cheap. Because the Broncos are paying him. Simple Steve for the working man. All right. So that's all I have for the Raiders today. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the LA Kings here. Let me switch over the old backdrop because that makes it official, Let's switch that. But it's just bouncing through there. We'll go black today instead of white. For the color. There we go. All right, now it's official. Now we're talking Kings, right? That's how I roll. All right. So breaking down the action from this past week. This past Sunday, the Kings defeated the Devils 5-1. Good game for the Kings. Back-to-back games with 5 goals. They beat the Vancouver Canucks last week 5-1, and they played the Devils a couple days later. Beat them 5-1. So, Kings starting to look like the early season Kings. First period, Timo Meier scored for the Devils. 15 seconds into the game, it was unbelievable. You sit down and get your pretzel bag open, and that's it. You're already a goal down. It's like, what the hell is going on? So Timo Meier scored 13th goal of the season, put New Jersey up 1-0. Philip Denault scored in the first period then to tie it up. His 12th of the season, assisted by Kevin Fiala and Vladislav Gavrikov. That made it 1-1. Then Laferriere scored his 9th goal of the season. The rookie scored his 9th goal of the season, assisted by Pierre-Luc Dubois. That made it 2-1 LA. We head on to the second period. Philip Denault scored again, his 13th of the season, assisted by Matt Roy and Trevor Moore. That made it 3-1 LA. Kevin Fiala also scored in the second period. Power play goal is 19th of the season, assisted by Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty, made it 4-1 LA. So we're on the cruise control here. Then we go to the third period. Not a whole lot of action, scoring-wise anyway, until the very end. Philip Denault gets the hat trick, empty netter with I think it was a minute and a half, 2.5 minutes to go. The Devils pulled the goalie. I think it was like 4.5, 5 minutes to go almost. Because they're down by 3 goals, it's like, why the hell not, right? Maybe you can steal one, make a 4-2, put a little bit more pressure on. So anyway, but yeah, Philly D gets the hat trick on the empty netter, assisted by Trevor Moore, Kevin Fiala. That made it 5-1 LA, and that was your final. Cam Talbot saved 30 out of 31 shots. Save percentage of .968. Shots went to the Devils. They led. They won 31, and we had 23 shots. Hits, Devils again, 25-15. Face-offs went to LA, 33-30. We were perfect on the penalty kill, 0 for 2. And we had one power play goal. We were 1 for 3. Block shots, 20 block shots for the LA, 13 for Jersey. Good game for the Kings. Jersey just... They looked defeated. They really did. They weren't the same Jersey team that we played. I think it was just a week before. It was when was that? March, or was that in February? Yeah, that was early February or early mid-February. We played the Devils out in Jersey, and I think we ended up beating them 2-1. And that team looked like they're pushing for a playoff spot. This team just looked sluggish. They looked slow. Minus a couple guys, they look kind of lackluster. Which a couple days later, they end up firing their coach, Lindy Ruff. So, looking for a different voice there in that locker room. We know all about that, right? So we move ahead to Tuesday, another matchup against Vancouver. We end up losing this one 2-1 in overtime, so we still get that point. And let's go to the scoring here. First period, Trevor Moore scored, 24th goal of the season, assisted by Philip Denault. That made it 1-0 LA. Second period, Pettersson scored for Vancouver, his 30th of the season, 1-1. Nothing in the third, so we go to OT, and JT Miller scores in OT. We have a lot of overtime losses this season, which it's good to get those points. When you go to overtime, it's nice to get that at least 1 point. It's, for all you people out there that hate participation trophies, it's kind of like a participation trophy. Like, oh, okay, you made it this far, we'll give you a point. That's kind of what it's like when you think about it. And me personally, I don't have a problem with participation trophies at a young age. 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 years old. Past that, I don't view participation trophies the same as like a second place or a third place trophy or medal. I don't view that as the same. But if you get a trophy like at 12 years old for just being in the league or whatever, that's a participation trophy. I don't have a problem with it, but it's not something that oh, look what I won. Well, you didn't win. It was through participation. You got that for showing up and participating, which is good. We need more kids participating anyway. In sports, get them off the crack and stuff. But anyway, Cam Talbot stopped 29 out of 31 shots. Another good game for Cam. Vancouver was very fast. They were there. They felt like they were in our zone the whole game. We were just holding on. That goal that they scored in the second period, they were just relentless. They were relentless. We were tired. You could tell we couldn't get off the ice. Every time we tried clearing it, they're able to bring it right back up into our zone. Couldn't get guys off the ice. So it was, you seen it coming. You seen the writing on the wall with that one. So you can see why Vancouver's the best in the West. So yeah, like I said, Cam Talbot stopped 29 out of 31. That's a .935 save percentage. Shots went to Vancouver, 31-24. Hits went to Vancouver, 31-27. Face-offs went to Vancouver as well, 38-21, which hurts really bad. You got to win those face-offs, especially when we're struggling. In our zone and stuff like that, and the puck's always in our zone. You get a face-off in our zone, we need to win that face-off and get it the hell out of there. Just couldn't do it. Wasn't happening. Perfect on the penalty kill again, 0 for 2. Power play, though, 0 for 1. Block shots. We won that one, so we got something out of it. Block shots, 19-12 LA. Then we moved to last night, a game against the Senators. A game you have to win. It's a bottom of the league type of team. You have to win these. You got to come out with 2 points. So, especially in this playoff race is super tight right now. So we win last night, 4-3 overtime. Really good game. Very good game. I watched the replay this morning. Very good. It was very exciting, back and forth. Very physical in the beginning of the game. I was into that game. That's the kind of game you'd like to go see. Very physical. You felt like a fight was going to break out at any moment. Plenty of scoring, plenty of shots. It was a fun game to watch. So first period, Ottawa gets on first with a goal by Kubalik, his 10th goal of the season, power play goal. Second period, Quinton Byfield ties it up, his 19th goal of the season. Beautiful goal, absolutely beautiful goal. All effort by Quinton Byfield, with the guy all over him. Assisted by Blake Lizotte, Vladislav Gavrikov also. That made it 1-1. And Ottawa took the lead again. Goal by Tkachuk, 27th of the season, made it 2-1 Ottawa. So we go to the third period. Ottawa controlling the tempo of this game. Felt like they had everything right where they wanted it. They're controlling it. And then we get a goal by Pierre-Luc Dubois, 14th goal of the season, assisted by Andrei Kopitar, Matt Roy. And this was on a delayed penalty. It was, I think we had at that point, I think we had 3 penalties called on us already at that point, or 3 or 4. And they didn't have any called on them, so we weren't in the power play at all. We really could use it, and finally we get a penalty call, so we pull the goalie on the delayed penalty call, and we get that extra skater, so it's a 6-on-5. And Pierre-Luc Dubois just did a fantastic job settling it down. Moving it around, creating space, settling it down, just creep, and it's a beautiful shot. So good job by Pierre-Luc Dubois. You don't get to say that often this season, but yeah, good job by him. That made it 2-2. And then we have Jacob Overar getting his first goal of his career. So kudos to him. That made it 3-2 Kings, assisted by Drew Doughty and Andrei Kopitar. And then the Senators come right back. Kudos to the Senators. Batherson scores his 22nd goal of the season. That made it 3-3. And then we head to overtime. In overtime, our boy, probably one of the hardest working guys out there. He makes mistakes. He makes dumb penalties once in a while. But Kevin Fiala, man, the dude just works. So he scores the game-winning goal. A beautiful play. Again, guys all over him. I don't know. I'd seen the replay a couple times. I don't know if he went between the legs on purpose or if the puck was hit by the Senators defenseman, but it went between his legs, and he's able to kind of reach back around and backhand it up over the goalie's pads. It was fantastic. Great job by Kevin Fiala. Great, beautiful goal. That was his 20th of the season. Assist goes to Matt Roy. So nice win by the Kings. Tough game. Senators show up to play, and it was a good win. Good win. Cam Talbot stopped 28 out of 31. Talbot had a beautiful save. I don't know if it's the second or third period. I don't remember. But he made I think he made a save going to his right, and the rebound went to a Senator, passed it over to a wide open net, and Talbot had to go over to his left, and he's way out of position, so he's able to dig that skate in, turn, and the guy shot it already. I don't know which Senator it was, but he had to dive. So he stretched out, glove out. We're in baseball season now, right? So it looked like a baseball. He's like a freaking shortstop. Stretches out there, the puck goes right in the glove before it crossed the line. It's beautiful. Great play. The crowd went nuts. That's when Byfield scored his goal to give us to tie the game up. So that was second period. So that was in second period. That's when we tied the game up. All that momentum. The crowd was going nuts after that save. The Byfield goes down. He scores that goal. maybe 20 seconds later. But unfortunately, another 20 seconds after that, the Senators score their goal to go back on top. So it was kind of took the air out of you. But a great game by Cam Talbot. He was tested a lot early, made a lot of great saves. The only reason we were in that game was because of Cam Talbot. So 28 out of 31 shots saved for a 903 save percentage. Shots went to LA 35-31. Hits went to LA 29-15 in a rare game where we actually out hit somebody. But like I said, it was a physical game. It was a lot of fun to watch. Blake Lizotte. I mean, if you're a Kings fan, if you're not a Kings fan, you ever get a chance to watch Blake Lizotte play, he's the smallest dude on the ice, so scrappy. He's one of those guys that's like a fly in your ointment, just like always zipping around, bugging you, and just there. I love watching Blake Lizotte play. Great player. Face-offs were 30 for 30, so that was a tie. Penalty kill, we were 1 for 4. Power play 0 for 0 because the delayed penalty never went to the box because we scored on it. So technically that was not a power play. And block shots went to LA 23-19. Like I said, nice win by the Kings. Needed those 2 points. That creates a little bit more space between us and Vancouver or Vegas Golden Knights for that final automatic playoff berth in the Pacific. So right now we're sitting in the automatic spot again, which is great. Like we were in the beginning of the season, we're all comfy and we're in an automatic playoff spot. Then all of a sudden we're scratching for a wild card. So it's a good week for the Kings, going 2-1. I'll take it getting points all 3 games. Coming out with 5 points this week. Good week for the Kings. So this week, the 3 stars of the week. If this is your first time watching, so what I do is I take the previous week's or this past week's games. I go over it stats wise, because pretty much it's stat driven. And I pick my 3 stars of the week, almost like in a hockey game. You have 3 stars of the game, your 3rd star, 2nd star, 1st star, and go from there. Like last night, I think it was the 1st star was Fiala, 2nd star was it Byfield? I think it was Quentin Byfield was the number 2 star, and the number 3 star was Jacob Moverar. That's what it was. So it's something similar to that. So my 3rd star of the week, I have Kevin Fiala, who's been phenomenal since Kempe's gone down. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points for him. Great job. My number 2 star, Philip Denault, for the week. 3 goals. He had that hat trick back against the Devils earlier in the week. 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points. And my number 1 star, Cam Talbot, who appears to be returning to early season form this week, going 2-0-1. Stopping 88 out of 93 shots for a 946 save percentage and a 1.66 goals against average. Great job by Cam Talbot. Like I said, last night's game, stopped a lot of shots early on. A lot of great chances the Senators had, and Kings were scrambling. So good job by Talbot. Got a comment here before I move on to the next topic. Eileen, will they make any trades? I'll skip ahead and I'll talk about that now then. That is a part of my agenda for today, but it's hard for the Kings to make any kind of deal because we have no money. So in order for the Kings to make a deal, it seems like it's going to have to be like one of those deals where the other team takes most of the money on, or a third team takes I don't know what there's a term that they use in the NHL where a third team comes in to take some of the money, off of the other team's hands or whatever. I don't know. Like I don't know what it's called. I don't quite understand how it works. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, they don't have money. They have like $2 million. They're like $1 or $2 million under the cap, like $2.2 million. I thought I heard. So they don't have a whole lot for anything. They do have. They can get a creative with some of it. So I know with some of the injuries we have with Victor Arvidsson, Adrian Kempe, Carl Grundstrom, and Mikey Anderson, there was talk that if those guys weren't going to come back before the playoffs, that you could put them on long-term IR and you could save money to the cap space. Like some of that money would come back to the cap. So, but all those guys are coming back before the playoffs, so they're not going to go on. I think right now Arvidsson, I think he's on long-term IR. But those guys, the other guys, they're not going to go on long-term IR. So because they're going to come back before the playoffs, as well as Victor Arvidsson should be back before the playoffs as well. So so that they have to get really creative. I've been hearing a whole lot of stuff about Tyler Toffoli, former King, won a Stanley Cup with us back in 2014. He spent, I think, 6 or 7 seasons. I think 7 seasons with the Kings. Yeah, 7. I think it's 7. He spent 7 seasons with the Kings, so there's familiarity. That's a hard word to say. That word is tough. I give kudos to anybody that can say that word. They're very familiar with each other. That's my go-to there. So I've been hearing that name, but besides that, I haven't heard anything else. Kind of, it seems like we're going to be rolling with what we have. I mean, once we get all those injury guys that are injured right now, once we get them back, it's almost like getting free agents back, but or picking up or making a trade or whatever, or picking up a free agent or something, because they've missed extended periods of time, especially Victor Arvidsson. Came back for, I think, 2 or 3 games before he got hurt again. So really haven't had him all season. I mean, the couple games that he was back, he must have shot the puck 2,000 times, but it's going to be good to get him back. Adrian Kempe, like I said, since he's been out, Kevin Fiala has really stepped up his game. And, he's been outstanding. He's cut down on the turnovers. He did have one big one last night, but for the most part, he's cut down on his turnovers and his stupid penalties. And I should say his untimely penalties. They always came at the wrong spot there. There was always it's like, didn't need that there, or just something stupid, an interference or a hold or something. It's like, why do that? So, but when we get those guys back, Carl Gruncham's been out for a while. Mikey Anderson. It'll be a good boost. We'll see what happens going into the playoffs then. But I don't know. It's like I said, it's going to be tough for them to do anything, and if they do, it's going to be. I think that from what I heard on Locked On Kings podcast, Jersey was asking for New Jersey was asking for a first-round pick and a prospect. And so just like the Locked On Kings podcast said, the first-round pick, not really a big deal. You're looking at the bottom half of the first round anyway. And but the prospect part, kind of makes you, we're looking to, Arthur Kaliev doesn't want to be here anymore. We're not using Arthur Kaliev. So do we trade Arthur Kaliev? I think we should see what we can get for him. And also Matt Roy. Matt Roy's, final year of his deal. And he's somebody that can bring in a decent haul. Do you trade him away, or you just hold on to him and, it is what it is. Maybe sign him to a team-friendly deal next year if he's willing to do that. And is that the route you go? I don't know. That's something that they were talking about on Locked On Kings. And I know the host was saying that he would like them to trade Matt Roy, at least to get something for him, which is understandable. You have a guy like that. He's playing outstanding. He's a top 4 defender. So those are good to have on any team. And do you get rid of him and risk not having him in your lineup? On that in the playoff push, is he going to make a difference in your lineup that much when you get to the playoffs? I don't know. You just trade him away and get what you can get, so you don't go away empty-handed. But yeah, Arthur Kaliev, I would be okay if they traded a first-round pick and Arthur Kaliev for Tyler Toffoli. I mean, Tyler Toffoli's bringing 25 to 30 goals, so you'll always use more scoring. Would they dump players though? I don't know. I don't know. They released they waived 2 players 2 days ago. I think it was Jared Anderson Dolan and Jacob Moverar. So you heard me doing my breakdown, talk about Moverar scoring. So obviously he's still around. So with them waiving Jared Anderson Dolan and Jacob Moverar, they could get claimed by other teams. So Jared Anderson Dolan did get claimed by another team, Nashville. Moverard did not get claimed. The Kings signed him to a two-year deal worth $775K per season, AAV, and so I don't know if that offers any kind of cap relief or not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. NHL's different. I'm not sure how it works. Like if they just go ahead and release. Let's say, all right. Let's just say that Arthur Kaliev is making $2 million this season. All right. If they go and release him now, does that, do we get some of that money back for the cap, or like what's the cap hit on that? Is the cap hit on that $700,000? So doesn't mean we get like 1.3 back. I don't know. I'm not sure how it works. I don't know anybody that they can afford to dump. So it's going to have to be a creative trade. It's what it's going to have to be. They're in cap hell right now. They did sign a couple guys, a couple free agents. They signed a goalie, Jacob Ingham, to a 1-year deal, and they sent him to the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. That's a cool name. So they sent him to. They loaned him, which again, it's weird. They loaned him to the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, and they also signed goalie Aaron Dell. They loaned him to Ontario, so we have some really good goalie depth right now. So Portillo and I can't remember who Portillo's backup is right now. It's a guy that we signed after we brought up David Rittich. But yeah, so we have some pretty good goalie depth. We do have some really good prospects, but you don't want to see them traded away for just a rental. That's kind of what Tyler Toffoli would be. He's on a 1 year. He's on the final year of his contract, so he'd be basically a rental because I don't think we could afford to sign him. So that's where free agency is. Well, we'll see today. Today's the free agency deadline for NHL. I'm not sure what the deadline is. I want to say 3:00, but I could be wrong, and I don't know if it was 3:00 Pacific, Eastern. I don't know. But today is the deadline. So after I go to bed and I wake up, we'll see what the Kings did. It's almost like Christmas. That's why I like free agency days when I go to bed and I wake up and I have all these messages on my phone. All these updates and stuff. It's like Christmas. Like, oh, look at this guy. Oh, he went here. He went here. Oh, well, we got this guy. Oh man, this guy left. It's always a lot of fun. All right. So flip back the page. So we'll look at the standings now as they sit today. Vancouver sitting at the top of the Pacific still. 65 games played. They're sitting at 41, 17, and 7 with 89 points. Edmonton's right behind them. 61 games played, so they have 4 games in hand. 38 wins, 21 losses, 2 ties. That's 78 points. So it's still 11 points behind. See how quick I did that math? I'm a math magician. Yes, I am. LA sitting in third. Like I said, that the top 3 spots in each division are guaranteed playoff spots. So LA sitting there with 62 games played, 32 wins, 19 losses, and 11 overtime losses, 75 points. So they're not too far behind Edmonton right now. Vegas Golden Knights, who all season have been in the top 3. That's mostly second place. They drop into the wild card race now. They've played 63 games. They have 33 wins, 23 losses, 7 overtime losses. They're sitting at 73 points. Calgary, 62 games played, 31, 26, and 5 overtime losses, 67 points. And Seattle Kraken still hanging around, 62 games played, 28 wins, 23 losses, 11 overtime losses, 67 points. So looking at the West overall, your number 1 seed right now is Vancouver with 89 points. Dallas is right there behind them. They're the leader in the Central, 85 points. Winnipeg, 83 points, right behind them. Colorado, 83 points. At the top of the Central is just really tight. Colorado's your 4 seed right now, 83 points. Edmonton, your 5 seed, 78 points. LA 6 seed, 78 points. Edmonton has 78 points. LA 75 points. Vancouver, I did it again. the way I have it written down, I have initials written down instead of the whole name. I keep calling it Vegas Golden Knights Vancouver because I see V and a K, even though there's no K in Vancouver. I'm not going to explain it. Nashville 75 points. They have the number one wild card spot right now in the Vegas Golden Knights. They go from an automatic spot, sitting in second place, almost all season to the second wild card spot right now. And then you have Calgary, Seattle, St. Louis, all with 67 points sitting on the outside, just 6 points behind Vegas. So right now, if the playoffs were to start today, you'd have Vancouver versus the Vegas Golden Knights. It should be a pretty good matchup. Dallas Stars versus Nashville. Nashville's a tricky team. A very physical team. I feel like watch out for Nashville. They make the playoffs. I think they can make some noise. I like Nashville. Very streaky, but if they can go in hot, they're a physical team. I like them. The 3 seed would be Winnipeg versus LA, 3-6, which would be interesting, because all the turmoil from earlier in the season with the trades that went on this past year. Gabe Vilardi going to Winnipeg and Alex Iafallo going to Winnipeg. Rasmus Kupari, it's not so much Rasmus Kupari, but mostly Gabe Vilardi and Alex Iafallo. For Pierre-Luc Dubois, they're outscoring Pierre-Luc Dubois. So it's there were some words said in the media after the game we played a few months ago. Winnipeg ended up winning that game. I don't remember exactly what was said, but it wasn't very nice. It was Gabe Vilardi. So far we've gotten the short-handed, the short stick in the deal here so far. Colorado's your 4 seed. They'd be playing Edmonton, which would be an awesome series as well. So, if it ends today, some really awesome playoff series out here in the West. So, who's up next for the Kings this upcoming week? We have a tough week here. You have Dallas Stars, who a lot of people are saying are they're Stanley Cup favorites. Dallas Stars sitting at 38-17-9, 85 points. You have the New York Islanders coming into LA. They're sitting at 28-20-14. They're fighting for a playoff spot, 70 points. And then we get to go to St. Louis, play the Blues. They're 32-28-3. And like I said, they're just on the outside looking in right now in the playoff race in the West. So, a tough week. Tough week for the Kings. It's going to be another one of those weeks like this past week where you hope you can get those 2 wins, against the Islanders and Blues, and you're gonna, hold on to your asses against the Stars. Last time we played the Stars, I think they beat us 5-0. So, and they're playing really good hockey right now. So let's move on to looking at the stats. My final topic of the day here. So looking at stats, we have Kevin Fiala now, who's been outstanding the last couple of weeks. 20 goals, 36 assists, 56 points, a plus-minus rating of -1. He leads the team in assists and points. So if you don't know what plus-minus is if you're on the ice and your team scores, you get a plus. If you're on the ice and the other team scores, you get a minus. Pretty cut and dry on that. I like that. Now when you watch baseball, you got all these different F4s and whips and all these different stats. Like, what in the hell is that? But I like the plus-minus rating. I like that. Very simple, very easy. Anze Kopitar, 18 goals, 35 assists, 53 points. Adrian Kempe, even though he's hurt, is still among our leaders in scoring. 19 goals, 32 assists, 51 points. The plus-minus rating of 7. Kopitar's plus-minus was 8. Quentin Byfield, 19 goals, 28 assists, 47 points, having an outstanding season this year. A plus-minus rating of +18. He leads the team in the plus-minus rating department. So he's a creator. He draws attention and he gets people the puck. So, or he scores. He does a great job. Trevor Moore, 24 goals, 19 assists, 43 points, plus-minus rating of +7. He leads the team in goals. Drew Doughty, 14 goals, 25 assists, 39 points, a +11. Philip Denault, who's playing very good hockey right now as well. 14 goals, 23 assists, 37 points, +11. And Pierre-Luc Dubois, 14 goals, 14 assists, 28 points, minus 18. Yeah. Looking at the goalies, we have Cam Talbot, 19 wins, 14 losses, 6 overtime losses, 2.46 goals against. They save percentage of .916. Playing very good hockey right now. David Rittich, 9-4-3, 2.32 goals against, and a .914 save percentage. I would assume we're going to see Rittich this week sometime. We didn't see him at all this past week. So I think this week coming up, the set of games against Dallas, Islanders, and Blues, I'd assume we'd see him in one of those games at least. I don't know. It's going with the hot hand. I get it because you want wins, but Cam Talbot's a little bit long in the tooth. He's been around for a while, so he might need a break. We don't want to wear him out before the playoffs here. So that's what I have on the Kings. So before I go, I'm going to do my sponsor reads here. We'll start off with Big Al, Jason Fine, J Fine Law. You can reach Jason Fine, attorney Big Al, at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. First, in the Garden State of New Jersey, the office is located in Cherry Hill at 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. Then in the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The office is located 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And in the city of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the offices are located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. That's Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. Once you get all your legal issues taken care of, head on over to monkeycoltcoffee.com and get yourself some gourmet coffee. They have bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee, toasted coconut rum. They have a Sumatran blend medium roast coffee. They have an organic blend called Peru La Florida, and they have their newest blend out called Golden Honey Agave. I'm going to tell you this the Golden Honey Agave. Get yourself a shot. Now don't do this before work. Get yourself a shot of Honey Jack. Jack Daniel's honey, and throw a shot of that in there. Fantastic. I'm telling you what, they go great together. They're also selling barrel aged honey. So if you're a honey aficionado, get yourself some honey as well from at monkeycoltcoffee.com, and head on over to their swag shop. They got t-shirts, coffee mugs, tumbler cups, cold brew pitchers, K-cup adapters, and also Paradise Rum Cake. So all that and much, much more at monkeycoltcoffee.com. And at checkout, use that promo code OOTB Sports for 10% off your order. That promo code, once again, is OOTB Sports for 10% off your order at monkeycoltcoffee.com. All right. Good show. Thank you, everybody, for checking it out. I appreciate it very much. If you like what you saw, or you say, you know what, this guy's all right. Let me see what else they have at Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. You can check us out at Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, Twitch. We're also on the Instagram and TikTok. 7 days a week. We have something going on. Always looking to add shows as well. So if you feel like you want to give the whole podcasting a shot, let us know what you want to do it on, and we'll start working towards it. I have a blast doing this. I'm not the greatest at it. I'm probably not even good at it. Maybe I'm okay. Maybe I'm bad. I don't know. I don't care either. I have fun with it. It's just it's a hobby, and try it out. It's a little nerve-wracking in the beginning, but once you flow into a couple shows, it's a lot of fun. It really is. Interactions with different people when you get comments and stuff. It is a lot of fun. I recommend at least trying it if you ever thought about doing it. Give it a shot. Talk about your team, your favorite sports team, your favorite sport, multiple sports teams, entertainment, whatever. Anything you want to talk about, just let us know. We'll start a show up. So thank you for checking the show out. Thank you for everybody that commented. And that's all I have. So just win, baby, and go Kings go. See you later.